So we're inching closer and closer to the full release of Jump Force Season 2 DLC. We have Shoto Todoroki actually in the game right now, just not unlockable to the public until the appropriate date. But we still have to have clarification on the other remaining characters from Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So we're going to talk about the rest of the final 5 characters in Season 2 of Jump Force DLC. But before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell to stay updated on all the anime and anime gaming content that we have on the #1 channel. The quality is in the name itself, perfection, and we'll jump right into it. So right off the bat, everyone's still talking about Hiei joining Jump Force as the representative for Yu Yu Hakusho. And again, I keep saying this, that would be great and all. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my personal favorites from Yu Yu Hakusho. But there's other Yu Yu Hakusho characters that deserve to be in over Hiei. One of them being the legendary Genkai in her prime. Yes, yes, and more yes. Now, obviously, there's 2 ways that you can pull off this character. One, you can just have her be in her prime form straight up through the entire match from the get-go. Or 2, you could have her be in her elderly form, and then her awakening could be her prime form. Now, I'm a fan of doing it the former way, just to forgo all that. But if you want to get creative and do something tricky, then you can do the latter option and have her elderly form in the game. But it's all about the super techniques that she would bring into the game, and it would be more advanced versions of the spirit technique in the game that Yusuke's already brought to the table. Now, there's several moves that I want to mention. Her spirit reflection technique would be a very unique super in the game, and I see it working like this. So Genkai would basically have like a mirror or of reflection type effect in the game, where when she triggers the super attack, she would counter all super attacks with the exact damage or double the damage that they were already going to do. Now, this would definitely be a counter to Dark End spam, and that was my purpose with the design of this move and how it works in the show. And how it works in the show is if a character attacks Genkai, she can just use their own energy against them. So that's pretty much what I was going off of with this super attack being in Jump Force. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, how you would make it work. Also, I want to see her get her spirit barrier technique in the game. This would be a purely defensive based maneuver that would, free her from any damage for a set amount of time, which would be basically like the wall effect that Aizen already has in the game, but obviously just spirit and energy. And I don't know how much time it would be. Honestly, I feel like a couple of seconds would be a little bit OP. So, it would just be something that they would have to work around. Also, I want her to have the Spirit or Genki Shotogun technique, which is an even advanced form of the Spirit Gun technique that Yusuke has already brought to the game, which basically would just widen the range of the move and hit in multiple areas in that field. Basically, hence the name Shotogun. So I want to see her get a different variety of attacks, and of course the ultimate would just be up to whatever Spike Chunsoft could come up with for her, because they like to get stylistic with the ultimates for the characters, so they don't really go frame for frame of different attacks. They just do what they feel like and what would be stylized for the character. So it would really be a surprise for what they would get to do. I would want her to have maybe a mountain splitting palm strike or something to that effect, but that's just me. So the next series we're talking about is Bleach, and due to having all the other characters, we have Renchi, Aizen, Ichigo, Rukia, we have to complete the set with Orihime Inoue, preferably in her Espada Arrancar arc outfit, the white getup. It has to be that Orihime, because that's where she starts showing off more advanced abilities. So I would love to see that iteration of Orihime come into Jump Force, and this is how. So Orihime basically works more of like a support character, so that's what I want to see her in. Now, yes, she does have attacking based techniques, and that would be where Tsubaki would come in, and this is all due to Shun Rika. the little hair clips that she wears throughout the series, they're actual spiritual weapons. So that's where all her spiritual energy is focused in anyway. So basically Tsubaki would be the attacking portion of Shanshan Rika, or the Shanshan Rika fighting style in Jump Force, and then the other portions could be her defensive barrier as a support defensive move, basically working like Aizen barrier, you know, but in a different shape, maybe smaller or more compact. Maybe the shield could follow the character around on the map for a set limit of time, but that's just the way that I envision the little square orange barrier working. Now also she has a portion of her techniques that are dedicated towards healing, so this would work pretty much like that one Hunter x Hunter character that's already in the game, Kurapika. Yeah, it would work like even more advanced than what that is. Like, I feel like that's still too gradual, it's too little. I feel like it should work on a bigger scale, so it would put an incentive on people from camping and staying to the other side of the map. So if you pop Orihime and you start healing, it's going to force your opponent to start fighting you and being more active and pursuing you in a match. That's my incentive with that particular technique. And again, her ultimate could be whatever Spike Chunsoft comes up with, because honestly I don't think she had too much of an ultimate base technique. Maybe some kind of shield barrier attacking combination, something. I know that Spike Chunsoft could come up with something for Orihime, because she is one of the primary characters in Bleach and she deserves that much regard. Moving on to the next series, which is of course Hunter x Hunter, and Hunter x Hunter's chosen representative, Chrollo Lucifer. Now there are so many things that this character can do. You can come up with several different movesets for several different iterations of this character, and they would all be varying and different. So we could talk about Skill Hunter in Jump Force. So Skill Hunter I would see working like stealing a super attack from your opponent. So let's say he hits Sasuke, from then on he can use a Mataratsu in the game. That's what I would see him doing. So he would put out the book. He would actually put out the book, let the opponent's super attack touch the book. The opponent would lose access to that particular super attack for the duration of the game, and Chrollo Lucifer would have that move for the duration of the game. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about. So characters like Sasuke that rely on that attack again and again and again, you could end up losing it for the rest of the game, and what would happen then? So like Chrollo Lucifer could be the answer to so many different problems in Jump Force, just based upon what he already does in the show. So we could also talk about let's say Double Face, which I would say it would work just like Skill Hunter. So let's say he uses Skill Hunter and it would take the place of Double Face, so that he could steal another ability. So he would just, his move slot would just be dedicated to taking techniques from the opponent and incorporating them into his own move set. Now his combos would be insane because he's an expert hand-to-hand martial artist, so that goes without saying. So he would be a mostly melee character with the ability to steal techniques from the opponent. So that would be the insane thing, and they would lose access to those abilities. So Double Face would be like a move save slot or something for the duration of the game, so he could steal another ability. So he would just use Double Face to use the ability that he already stole, again in conjunction with Skill Hunter, so he could keep stealing abilities and have multiple abilities throughout the duration of the game. So this would basically end move spamming in Jump Force with Chrollo Lucifer. So he would actually be bringing something useful to the game of Jump Force. Now, thinking of something else that he could also do, he could be a support annihilator. So he could use the ability the Sun and the Moon, or aka Paired Destruction, which would put marks on people's supports. So you would attack your opponent, but it would mark that particular character that's already been touched for the duration of the game, and they would explode, and it would cause them to be grayed out for the duration of the game, and they cannot be used. So Chrollo Lucifer would come in and be a meta changer. He would deny people access to particular super attacks. He would deny them to particular supports. He would just be cleaning up Jump Force all by himself. Let me know what you think of the abilities that I've chosen for Chrollo Lucifer in the comment section below, and you might see it in a future video, because I do intend to come back on this character for all the things that he can do. Now, getting down to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, we've talked about a lot of different characters from this series that could potentially come into the Jump Force universe through Season 2 of DLC. And I feel like it has to be a character that's already been in the Jump brand of games if you want to go back to the J-Star Victory Versus titles. And we're going to be talking about Jonathan Joestar. Now, there's a lot that he brings to the table, especially if you use the J-Star's Victory Versus moveset. Two unique abilities, because I know that everyone's going to feel like he's going to function like Kenshiro. And when I look at Jonathan, I feel that way myself, because they're so stylized in a similar fashion that it gives you that impression. But the movesets can vary. Now, I know the overdrive techniques are going to look pretty much like Kenshiro's existing moveset, but you could also differentiate the two when Jonathan uses Zoom Punch. Now, when he uses Zoom Punch, this would be a surprise long range attack. Let's say you're in the mid to long range, he throws out his punch and he hits you for a good chunk of damage. And this would be a good neutral control option for Jonathan. It would give him something unique that sets him apart from Kenshiro and the other characters in the game. It would make him a pseudo Namekian. It would put Piccolo to shame, and that's what I would like to see with him with Zoom Punch. Now, the overdrive techniques, I would think, would vary based upon what they could do differently to Kenshiro's like multiple punching technique. We've seen multiple punching techniques in the game already, of course, with the JoJo Bizarre Adventure characters with Dio and Jotaro. We also count Kenshiro with the multiple punches. But what I want to see with Jonathan is maybe a cancelable ability. Maybe he can continue doing combos after Sunlight Yellow Overdrive. Maybe that could be the point of the maneuver, or maybe could sit you into a crumple state and set up for his ultimate that wouldn't scale the damage. And with the ultimate, I could see being a even more advanced version of Sunlight Yellow Overdrive with some over-the-top cinematic that Jump Force has become known for. That's what I can see coming with Jonathan coming to Jump Force. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, I've been your perfect being, the #1 anime gaming Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Jump Force channel on YouTube. Of course, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, enable all notifications, and I will continue providing this content and you can continue enjoying it. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.